When I first started showing up on Instagram, it was 2015. I know it feels like eternity ago. It was 11 years ago. I had had an account since like 2008, but I wasn't really using it. I anchored into it really 2014, but 2015 I like committed, right? And I've gone on many journeys since then. And my first hashtag tag, because back then people used to have hashtags, like you would claim a hashtag and it would be yours. And mine was the poetry of you. And as I was sitting with this and remembering that that is what I chose as my very first ever hashtag, it was making me emotional because I was like, oh, I've always just wanted people to fully accept and love all parts of themselves. Now, there's a piece about acceptance that I'm going to get to in a little bit. Just stay with me. It's important. You're going to want to hear it. But the truth is that so many people are resistant to this. Like, think about that phrase, the poetry of you. Like, what comes up in your body when you think about that? We've been conditioned to hate ourselves, to disconnect from ourselves. I'm like feeling so emotional. I officiated my first wedding this weekend and I feel like I'm having residual, like just like beautiful emotions from that. And also, this makes me so just feel so many things because I witness people every single day disconnect from themselves, abandon themselves, dishonor themselves, run around like trying to figure themselves out through diagnoses, through trying to like make themselves fit into these fucking boxes they're not meant to fit in. And when we think about poetry, poetry does not fit in a box. I just went to see Michael, the Michael Jackson movie yesterday, and Michael Jackson did not try to fit himself into a box. He was a visionary. And there are more visionaries than we realize because most people are too scared to let themselves actually be visionaries. And when you let yourself be a visionary, you are embodying the poetry of you. You are your own unique vibration, your own unique imprint. Your voice is unique, your fingerprint is unique, your being is unique. There has literally never been another human like you ever in existence. And sometimes we hear that and we go on this egoic tirade of like, oh, I'm so special, right? And we get it caught up in the trap of special. And I dove into this in my 5-day free class, the Diamond program. It was really a program, it was not just a class. It was like there was so much moving through that program. And you get into the trap of special and you think you have to be special, which then actually stops you from being unique because you're so rigidly and fragile. There's a fragility to being special. It's like if you're special, no one else can be special. Whereas if you're unique, then every single human can honor each other in their uniqueness in the poetry of you. Hello and welcome to Your OK Way of Healing, Expanding, Spiritually Transforming, and Mastering Energetics. I am your host, Your OK, spiritual mentor, leadership mentor, nervous system genius, clinically trained therapist, and all around energetic sorceress. I am psychedelic mushrooms in human form. What does that mean? That means I am going to come in and I'm going to break apart every defense mechanism you've ever had, every addictive behavior, every untruth, every way that you have abandoned yourself, dishonored yourself, sought outside of yourself, every way that you have not allowed you to embody the poetry of you, because that's what mushrooms does, psychedelic mushrooms. This is Venus Starlight. Psychedelic mushrooms, when you allow them to, they break apart all of the defenses and the veil and they bring you home to you. And that is what I do. I'm psychedelic mushrooms in human form, and mentorship with me is a wild ride that is truly going to bring you back to the poetry of you. So if you look around the world and you think about all of the ways that you have been disembodied from yourself, the beauty standards you've been sold, what you've been marketed, the ways that you've been taught that you should live your life a certain way, and then maybe you started to rebel against that and you wanted to be different and you wanted to be special, but you were never taught how to come back to the truth of who you actually are, to really look at your unique lessons, initiations, transformations, gifts, talents, visions. Like, who are you at your core? And what are you meant to express in this world? And then, even if you do know what it is you're meant to express in this world, so many of us feel terrified to actually do it. I know I did for years. It's only recently I'm even saying some of the stretchier things, like my last video about the path to the matriarchy, excuse me, is not through F the patriarchy, but rather through embodying unconditional love. Like, I'm saying stretchy things in that episode. I'm terrified of being villainized. Like, I'm terrified of being like stoned to death or hung or have my throat cut. Like, literally, those are like things that go through my head. And I know that that's not going to happen in this world. Like, but I could get villainized because I have very just I wanted to call them radical, but I don't think they are. Truly, I just believe that everything comes back to you. And I believe that we are disempowered in so many ways. And so embodying the poetry of you actually means bringing you back to your power to actually live life the way you desire to live it. And not in a rebellious way, not in a, F the system way, not in a resistant way, not in a like trying to be different, trying to be special, looking outside of yourself way, but like truly what is the authentic truth for you? Like, what is real for you? That's the poetry of you. It's like, being able to discern, am I in a situationship that's actually transforming me, or am I in a situationship that is based upon my own attachment wounding and I'm terrified to let go? Like, when you have that level of discernment, you know how to use everything in your life for transformation, for alchemy, for discovery, for beauty, for poetry, for creation. But we're not taught how to do that. We're taught, oh, you texted that guy back that you don't like, or that you shouldn't like, right? We should on ourselves. So that means you're not honoring yourself. Maybe a lot of the times, yes. But sometimes, no. I've had clients that are like doing like in certain relationships with people they probably quote unquote shouldn't be, or that most of the world would shame them for, or tell them they have low self-esteem for. But the truth is that those relationships were transforming them at the deepest of levels. And sometimes we need a relationship that catalyzes us forward that way. Or it could be like you're in a job and you're resistant to the job and you're like, I'm better than this. I should leave. I should start my own thing. But you need to be in that job in order to embody leadership in a certain level. And so you need to stay there. And when you don't have guidance around these things, like what's true and what's shoulds, or what is ego, or what is your attachment wounding, like when you don't have guidance around that, you miss out on the poetry of you because you're operating through defenses, addictive behaviors, and shoulds, right? Like we're not guided to the poetry of who we are uniquely in our being. And what I've found is that when I see people, because I like really see people and I can see beyond all the bullshit, when I see them, it's really triggering. It's really activating because people aren't used to being seen. They're used to being able to present a certain way that feels safe to present to the world, and people don't really question it. I'm going to question it. My Mercury is in Pisces in the 8th house. So this means I see it all. I feel it all of the unspoken everything. I am experiencing it. And having a guide like that is so powerful for you because I'm going to bring forward your truth. And that, as they say, is first going to piss you off. Then it's going to set you free. And that's the true poetry of you. The poetry of you is not this, perfect image. The poetry of you is, can you ride the wave of life in a magical way without making yourself wrong, shooting on yourself, attaching, trying to rush the timeline? Can you stay connected to Kairos? We're opening up Kairos in the 4th month of the ROK Way Mystery School right now. Kairos is divine timing. It's synchronistic timing. It's jumping timelines. It's stretching time. It's working with time in that way. Can you stay connected to that? Or is your human ego and brain so fixated on a certain thing that you miss out on the magic of life? Like, we don't actually even know what it means to be embodied in the poetry of who we are because we're fed so many marketing stories about who we should be, how we should manifest, what our lives should look like. And if you're talking to that guy, then you just don't honor yourself. Or if you're in that job, then you just don't love yourself enough. Sometimes there are valuable lessons within those spaces that you need to learn, that you need to embody in order to take the next steps. And if you don't have a guide who can help show you that way, you're going to miss out on it. And then you're going to continually be running in circles. Like we're so fixated on perfectionism, but nothing that ever created true poetry was perfect. It was wrought with heartbreak, betrayal, fear, death, loss, transformation. Like that's what creates poetry. That's to live a poetic life. Now you might be listening to me like, I don't want that. I just want perfect. I'm not for you then. That to me is not living. Life is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be a journey. It's meant to have ebbs and flows and waves and twists and turns and to allow you to unlock new, potent, beautiful pieces of yourself at every turn. Sometimes that's going to come through heartbreak. I've had several heartbreaks throughout my life that have transformed me at the most in the most profound of ways, in ways that nothing else could have transformed me like that had brought me back to me and the true poetry of me. I want you to sit with what is the poetry of you? What does that mean to you? Where are you resisting life because you're trying to make it look perfect, or you think it should look a certain way, or you think if you get the house and the partner and the kids and the job and the business or the clients or whatever it is, or the amount of money that you think everything will just be done. We're not meant to stop living. There is no done. There is evolution, transformation, following the magic thread of life and allowing yourself to continually feel lit up and joyful and connected and free. We're meant to have eros energy coursing through us, vitality coursing through us. We are not meant to stop living. There is no end point. There is the journey. And that's the poetry of you. The poetry of you is continually uncovering the different facets of you and allowing yourself to evolve, to expand in all the ways that you're meant to experience life fully and completely, and to allow yourself to jump into the vast unknown and know that the magic of life is going to catch you. You are safe to be in the unknown. Everything magical is created in the unknown, and we're trying to know everything, trying to control everything, even through how we try to manifest. This is my desire, this is what I want, and this is how it's going to go. And yeah, some people manifest a lot that way. I've never been one of those people. The universe does not let me do that because that's not connected to my soul. That's a very disembodied way of manifesting. It's very control based. And yeah, you can do that. You can manifest a lot of things. But when you're on a true spiritual soul journey, it just doesn't work that way for us. You're going to have to kind of throw all of that caution to the wind. Like you can have a vision, you can know where you're going, but you want to follow what lights you up rather than the rigid attachment to a certain way things are meant to be, because that's not poetry. Poetry is not rigid. It's not tight. It's not how it should be. And I want you to feel the poetry of life, which is the poetry of you. And maybe you're listening to me and going, I don't give a fuck about poetry. I just want to feel safe. I just want to have all my ducks in a row. I want to have all my things. Again, I'm probably not for you. However, as you start to feel that safety and you have all the things in order, you start to stretch into what you could dream is possible. Being able to create that will ask you to believe in it before you see it. And that's what it is to be in the unknown. That's what it is to be a visionary. That's what it is to have the divine feminine energy leading. The divine feminine sees what's possible before it shows up in the 3D, because the 3D is a slow ass narrator, as my business mentor says. And when you can believe in your vision and you can hold that vision, you can have the personal power and the internal safety, a nervous system that feels like it's dripping in gold to show up to that, you allow your life to continually evolve. And that is magic. That is being connected to the poetry of you. So when I visualize the poetry of you, it's like all these magical tendrils inside of you, and like everything that greets you in the 3D is opening and expanding new parts of you. And sometimes it's painful, sometimes it's heartbreaking, sometimes it's betraying, sometimes it destroys you, and sometimes it's so light and effervescent and joyful and expansive, and you feel every cell of your being lit up with joy. And that's what it is to really be alive. And that is the poetry of you. And so really look at all the ways that you've been disconnected from you, that you've been marketed a certain way of being, that you're trying to control an outcome, that you're following these manifestation coaches that are very rigid and showing you perfectionism. That is you avoiding the messiness of your life because life is raw and messy and wild, and it's also magical. That is what makes it magical. And in my world, in the ROK world, the ROK way is all about uncovering the magic and the poetry of you. And we're all unique. And we're all magical and powerful and beautiful and radiant and expansive and free when we allow ourselves to be. But the brain will take over and it will suck the life out of everything if you don't allow yourself to surrender your defenses, shift your addictive behaviors, which their addictive behavior could be anything. It could be overthinking, obsessing, control. Control is a huge one. We don't realize how deeply insidious control is. It's like trying to control everything, perceptions of people, the ways you say something, how, the grocery store line goes, how the traffic goes. Like control is a huge one. And when you release it and you surrender it anchored into your body, not your mind, and you just allow yourself to float through life, trusting whatever's there that's greeting you and getting curious about it rather than resisting it, I'm telling you, everything feels so much more magical. When you can have something happen from the external world and go, what's happening within me that this is showing up in my external world? This is bringing your unconscious into consciousness. And this is what it is to create the poetry of you because 98% of what we do is unconscious. And in the portal, May, we are creating a love affair with the unconscious so you can create the most beautiful, joyful, playful, expansive, eros-filled life. Because if you're not in relationship with your unconscious, you are never going to access the full poetry of you. So if that interests you, jump in. We just started. If there's any other way you'd like to work with me, let me know. My whole mission in life, the ROK way of healing, expanding, spiritually transforming, and mastering energetics, is all about guiding you back to you because it all starts with your relationship with you. This is unearthing the poetry of you, and that allows you to have deeper, more connected, more expansive relationships with others, with the world, with your vision, with everything. It all starts with you. Like you are the thing that blossoms life forward. And when you can connect to that and really feel that in your whole being without resistance, without looking outside, without excuses or blame or projection, but truly with like deep curiosity and surrender, you get to live the most magical and poetic life and to truly uncover the poetry of you.